Self magazine posted a video to Instagram in early February 2026 asking several Team USA athletes at the Milan Winter Olympics one simple question. Who is your Olympic crush? It was meant to be a lighthearted, fun, shareable clip. The kind of content sports media has been producing for years to give audiences a peek behind the competition and into the personalities of the athletes they are watching. Quick answers. Big smiles. A little bit of charm before going back to the serious business of competing at the Olympics. And then it became something else entirely. Something nobody who posted it fully predicted, including probably Self magazine itself. Alysa Liu, two-time Olympic gold medalist, the most talked-about winter athlete in the world right now, looked directly at the camera and said her Olympic crush was Suni Lee. She called her so pretty and very stylized. She said, "You know what I am saying?" She nodded as if this was completely obvious, and she was mildly amused that anyone needed to ask. Her teammate Amber Glenn, who won gold in the team figure skating event, named Laurie Hernandez and praised her for being openly queer and completely herself, adding a little bit of a nerd, just like me. Speed skater Brittany Bowe named her own fiancée, Team USA women's hockey captain Hilary Knight, who had proposed to Bowe at the Olympics the very day before this video was filmed. She said the one and only Hilary Knight. There is no thinking outside the box on that one. 3 American women. All at the same Olympics. All on camera. All answering a simple question with complete honesty and zero performance of anything other than who they actually are. The video spread everywhere. The comments filled with a specific kind of reaction that is different from the reaction viral sports content usually gets. Not just people saying iconic or queen, but people saying things like "I have never seen myself in a sports moment like this before." People saying "This is the first time Olympic coverage felt like it was for me." People saying "This is what it looks like when athletes are free to just be people." This is why that video matters in ways that go far beyond a celebrity crush question. Let us start with Alysa Liu specifically because her answer is the one that traveled farthest and the one that deserves the most careful examination. She is 20 years old. She is currently single, which she has said openly in multiple interviews, including a January piece in Cosmopolitan where she said she loves being single and sees herself being single for a long time, that she prioritizes friendships over relationships, and that her standards are quite high. She is not using this moment to make a declaration about her identity. She is not claiming a label. She has not described herself publicly in any specific way in terms of orientation. She is simply a 20-year-old who was asked who her Olympic crush was and answered honestly. And that honesty, that complete lack of calculation in the moment, is the thing that made the video travel. There is a version of this moment that would have played out differently 10 or 15 years ago, where an athlete in her position, at the peak of their visibility, fresh off 2 gold medals, with brand deals and tour dates and a national platform being built around them, would have given a safe answer. A funny non-answer. A deflection. And anything but the honest thing. Because the honest thing felt like a risk, and risks in that kind of public moment felt like something to manage. Alysa Liu did not manage it. She just answered. Suni Lee. So pretty. Very stylized. You know what I am saying? And Suni Lee responded by reposting one of Alysa's ESPN photos on her Instagram story with a single word. Queens. 2 of the most decorated young American Olympic athletes of the past 4 years, one from summer gymnastics and one from winter figure skating, in a public mutual appreciation moment that the internet could not get enough of. No agenda. No press release. Just 2 people who think the other is pretty great, saying so. Now let us talk about Amber Glenn because her part of this video is the one that carries even more specific weight and is getting significantly less attention than Alysa's answer. Amber Glenn won gold in the team figure skating event at Milan 2026. She is 25 years old. She came out publicly as pansexual in 2019, 7 years ago now. She has been openly, consistently, unapologetically herself throughout her competitive career in a sport that has not always been kind to athletes who do not fit a particular mold. When Self magazine asked her who her Olympic crush was, she said she has many. She named Laurie Hernandez. And then she said she loves that Hernandez is openly queer and completely herself, a little bit of a nerd, just like me. That last part. Just like me. She was not talking only about being a nerd. She was talking about the whole thing. About being openly queer. About being completely herself in spaces that do not always encourage that. About finding a fellow athlete who has also made the choice to not perform a version of herself for public consumption. Laurie Hernandez came out publicly in an Instagram post in December 2022. She was 22 at the time. She did it quietly, without announcement, simply by posting content that reflected who she was. Glenn, who has been out since 2019, naming Hernandez as her crush and praising her specifically for that part of herself is a gesture of recognition between two athletes who understand exactly what it costs and what it means to be fully honest about yourself in the public eye. This is not a small thing in the context of elite sport. Especially elite women's sport in America, which has a long and complicated history with LGBTQ representation. The women's national soccer team has been vocal and visible for years. Women's basketball has become increasingly open. But figure skating, which has historically traded in very specific and very gendered aesthetics of femininity, is a sport where being openly queer has not always felt safe or strategically wise for athletes building careers. And here are three Team USA athletes at the 2026 Olympics naming each other openly, on camera, for an audience of millions, with exactly zero hesitation. Then there is Brittany Bowe, whose answer in this video is simultaneously the simplest and the most extraordinary. Bowe is a four-time Olympian. She is 37 years old. She has won 91 World Cup medals, 22 national titles and 6 world titles in speed skating. She is one of the most accomplished American winter sport athletes in history. The day before this video was filmed, her partner Hilary Knight had proposed to her at the 2026 Winter Olympics. Knight was the captain of the U.S. women's hockey team that just won gold. She proposed the day before the gold medal game. And Bowe said yes. And then Self magazine asked Bowe who her Olympic crush was. And she said, beaming, the one and only Hilary Knight. There is no thinking outside the box on that one. She was talking about her fiancé. At the Olympics. The day after a proposal. On camera. There was no hesitation. No awkward pause. No choice of words designed to obscure anything. Just a woman talking about the person she loves the way people talk about the person they love when they are very happy about it and have no reason to hide it. That moment, as small as it seems in isolation, is actually one of the most powerful things in this video. Because Brittany Bowe is not a 20-year-old in the first year of her public visibility navigating what she can and cannot say. She is a 37-year-old four-time Olympian who has made very deliberate choices throughout her career about how she presents herself publicly. And she chose to walk into that camera frame and name her fiancé with a grin and a simple sentence that left nothing ambiguous. Here is the bigger picture because this video does not exist in isolation. It is part of something that has been building in American women's sport for several years and that reached a visible new milestone in Milan. The U.S. women's hockey team that won gold in Milan is captained by Hilary Knight, who is openly gay and proposed to her teammate at the Olympics. The team includes Layla Edwards, the first black woman to play on the U.S. Olympic team, whose presence is being openly celebrated as a barrier broken. The team figure skating gold was won by a group that includes Amber Glenn, who is openly pansexual and has been for years. And across sports at these games, American athletes were simply being themselves in ways that would have been more managed and more cautious in previous Olympic cycles. Not loudly. Not as a statement. Just as people who have decided that performing a version of themselves for public consumption is not a price they are willing to pay for competitive success. This is a generation of athletes who grew up watching the costs of silence and decided those costs were not worth paying. Who watched the people who came before them navigate impossible double lives or delayed their own self-expression for the sake of brands and federations and the specific cultural expectations of their sports. And who decided they were not going to do that. Quietly, individually, one interview at a time, at the Olympics, on Instagram, in Self magazine videos. The Self magazine video is not a landmark moment by itself. But it is a perfect crystallization of a shift that has been happening for years and that Milan accelerated. A shift toward athletes who are complete people in public. Whose athletic identities and personal identities are not separate things to be managed in separate contexts. Who answer a question about their Olympic crush the way a normal 20-year-old would answer the same question, which is honestly and without calculating the consequences. Suni Lee posted the word Queens with heart eye emojis in response to Alysa's moment. That single word from one Olympic champion to another traveled as far and as fast as the original video. Because it communicated something clear and real. These two young women see each other. They appreciate each other. They are happy for each other. And they are doing it publicly without treating any of it as remarkable. Which is maybe the most remarkable part of all. Alysa Liu said Suni Lee is her Olympic crush. She said so pretty and very stylized. She said you know what I am saying. She was a 20-year-old double Olympic gold medalist being completely honest on camera and expecting nothing from the moment other than the simple truth of it. And the moment spread everywhere because so many people had been waiting for exactly that. Athletes who are real. Who answer real questions with real answers. Who exist in public the same way they exist in private. Who make a viral moment out of something as simple and as human as saying yes, obviously, have you seen Suni Lee? That is what happened in that video. And it is exactly why the video is still spreading 3 weeks later and will still be talked about long after the Milan medals have found their permanent home on mantelpieces in Oakland and Madison and wherever Brittany Bowe and Hilary Knight build their life together. These athletes showed up as themselves. And it turned out the world had been waiting for exactly that.